Hello friends! Each one of us has a different attitude towards doctors, but nobody can argue with the fact that it is one of the most ancient and noble professions. Societies have always valued medical work, and surgeons in particular are believed to have one of the most important, difficult, and useful professions. Around the world, those people in white coats save 10 or even hundreds of thousands of lives every day. They consciously choose this work by following their hearts. Not everyone is cut out to be a surgeon. Today I will tell you a story of when surgeons did something truly incredible. Thanks to their dedication and self-sacrifice, their pictures spread all over the world and touched the hearts of millions of people. I'll tell you the story chronologically. Lu Wang was a 40-year-old man living in Fujian Province, China. Even though he had a wonderful wife and daughter, he did not spend too much time with them. He was constantly working crazy hours simply to feed his family. It so happened that the constant work-related stress and sleep deprivation left their mark on Lu Wang. He began to notice that his health was getting worse every day. Lu Wang recalled, "I remember waking up one morning, heading to the kitchen, and passing out. My wife got very scared. That's when I told her that I felt something was wrong for a long time. I realized that I couldn't put it off any longer and went to the doctors. He attributed his poor health to fatigue and thought that a short vacation would help him regain his strength. But what Lu Wang found out a few days later completely changed his plans for the future. It turned out that things were not as simple as Lu Wang had thought. An aneurysm and a neuroblastoma was discovered in his brainstem. He needed emergency surgery, without which his life could end at any second. But friends, those were far from the only difficulties. The surgery he needed was extremely difficult. The issue was that the aneurysm and the neuroblastoma had to be removed at the same time. There was a big chance that if something went wrong, Lu Wang would not survive. The couple was sad when they left the hospital, but there was no alternative, and Lu Wang decided to undergo the surgery. Lu Wang and his family were warned in advance that the surgery would take a long time. At the same time, he was comforted to know that the doctors at the hospital were extremely qualified in their profession. At that point, he did not know just how qualified they were. The fateful day came soon. Before the surgery, Lu Wang hugged his wife and daughter and told them that he loved them very much. He apologized for not spending too much time with them recently. Afterwards, he was taken to the operating room. The surgery began on Saturday at 8:30 a.m. The entire time, Lu Wang's wife was at the hospital. I think it goes without saying that she was very nervous. Lu Wang's wife recalled her experience. "I didn't know what to do with myself. We were told that the surgery would last a long time, but I had no idea that it would be this long. I remember an hour passing, then 5 hours. The surgeon and his team did not come out. I kept waiting and thinking that soon it would be over. But when I looked at the clock and realized that the surgery had already lasted for 12 hours, I couldn't believe it. It's not surprising, since at that point, it was already dark outside. The work was incredibly difficult for the doctors because they had to remove several tumors in one go. After waiting for 10 hours, Lu Wang's wife fell asleep in the hospital. But friends, of course, this was far from the end. Around 6 in the morning, the first medical professional exited the operating room, but he re-entered in about 10 minutes. Later, another one came out, and then another. Each one looked tired, but would return to the patient in a matter of minutes. Lu Wang's wife was nervous and waited for news, but there wasn't any. Can you imagine that at that point, it was already lunchtime? It means that the surgery had already lasted for 24 hours. Hoping for the best, she waited until the evening. But like before, there was no news. Only a few hours later was the man's life saved. Fortunately, the surgery went well. To say that the surgeons were exhausted would be an understatement. After the surgery, they simply ran out of energy and fell to the floor. A nurse who was on shift took a picture of the scene and later posted it on social media with the following caption: "The surgeons just completed an extremely difficult 32-hour surgery and simply fell to the ground out of exhaustion. The surgery began at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday and ended at sunset on Sunday." In an instant, the picture spread around the internet. Millions of people shared it and expressed their admiration for the doctors. Lu Wang returned to work after his surgery and rehabilitation, but began to prioritize different things in life. He promised that he would spend much more time with his loved ones, and whenever possible, would make his work second in importance. When it comes to the doctors, it turns out that surgeries that last many hours are fairly common. Despite all the technological progress, modern people still get sick. That's why surgeons have to perform several complicated surgeries every day. Their profession requires not only knowledge, but also a certain psychological attitude and even intuition. After all, human life is at stake. Later, Lu Wang's wife admitted that she was worried about whether the doctors would make it or if they would fall asleep. But it turned out that at that point, their patient's life was more important than anything else in the world. They brought the surgery to a successful finish, after which they simply fell to the floor exhausted. Of course, the patient will be grateful for the rest of his life, but in actuality, there are many such surgeons all over the world, but we don't know about them. This story shows how difficult the job of saving other people's lives can be. I pray that there will be as many as possible such professionals. Share your opinions on the work of these people. See you soon. Bye.